What is it?
Hello, welcome to The Essential Gamer. You're watching What Is It with me, Lee, and what it is Doomed to Hell, a twin-stick shooter, roguelite type thing. Basically, you're a guy that's died. You've gone to hell. Hell's a bit full, and the game uses some choice wording as to describe your plight in trying to escape hell. There can be only one, a bit like Highlander if you're old enough to remember that. And you are hoping to be the one by doing one of those things. You know, look, you go to hell, very simple. The tutorial turns up, devil says, hey, there's loads of you, we've got to get rid of you, we're going to do a thing. I'm not going to say what it is. It's on the screen now. Right there. Probably shouldn't use that wording. So, Doomed to Hell is a nicely animated, fairly simple in its design roguelite. It is a twin-stick shooter. It's basically you have a level that has 5 rounds. Each round gets more difficult with more baddies and harder baddies. You do your 5 waves. You get a temporary buff at the end of each wave until you eventually beat that particular level. I think there's 9 levels altogether, each increasing in difficulty and complexity and general bullet hellness that manages to deliver a fairly competent experience, which isn't too bad if slightly slow paced. In between the rounds you have a shop that is manned by Toby, a fairly disinterested cat-like creature, I guess as a demon of some sort, and you'll get 4 choices that you can purchase, random choices, defense buffs, new weapons, weapon buffs, etc, things you can test out while you're in the shop, and then when you're done you jump back in and you go to the next wave, or back to the wave you died on, or whatever level it is. So there's 9 levels, 5 waves to each level. The gameplay is where I enjoy it and also start to get a little bit bored by it, because it doesn't really vary. It's you go back to the shop after each wave, you buy a thing off Toby, who says one of 3 quips. You go back, there's boxes that explode and give you coins. You get coins from random baddies. You end up taking the coin that you get from the random baddies back to the shop. It's repetitive, and not in a way that like Hades makes satisfying, because that repetition was interjected by great storytelling. Unfortunately, this is back to the game, fight some baddies, open some chests, get some money, back to the shop, buy some stuff off Toby, hi Toby, back to the game, shoot some things in the face, back to the shop, back to the game, shoot some things, back to the shop, back to the game, shoot some things, back to the shop, back to the game, shoot some things, shoot some things, shoot some things, shoot some things, back to the shop. Excuse me. Yeah, so after each wave you get a bonus buff. Sometimes when you go to the shop you'll get a permanent buff that will stick with you for the entire game. So you can switch up your loadout between guns and swords, and there's different things that will help each of those weapon types be a little bit more useful. It's a good effort. It's a good effort that slightly misses the mark by lack of variety. There's not a great deal of difference in the backgrounds and the things in the levels. The baddies get repetitive each wave. I mean, yes, they add different variants, but really never too interesting, and there's no storyline at all besides die and repeat. Doomed to Hell lives up to its name by delivering a repetitive, slow-paced experience that is quite suffering, besides being a half-decent twin-stick shooter. But it doesn't deliver on anything else. you don't get a story, you don't really get too much interaction with the world itself. There's no sort of interjecting characters. You might find some later on, but getting there and even finding them would be monotonous, unfortunately. I want to be nicer to it, because I kind of like parts of it, but nah. If you want this sort of roguelike, just go and get Hades, and if you've already played it, just play it again. Anyway, if this video is any good to you whatsoever, please do like and subscribe. Tell your nan as well, she might enjoy it. If you didn't like it, tell us why in the comments. I'll address this, send myself to hell, and twin stick shoot my way out of trouble, like I always do. Goodbye.